Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, get ready because today we're diving into a transformation story. It really touches on something uh, fundamental about how businesses work and where skills are heading. We're exploring the evolution of the corporate treasury team. So think about the folks managing a company's money, the cash, the currency risk, the debt, that whole area.
Right. The core finance operation.
Exactly. And we're looking at how that function has changed, dramatically over the last few decades. And maybe more importantly, where it seems to be sprinting towards, particularly with technology driving so much of it.
Yeah, that's right. And we're drawing our insights today from a really sharp comparative analysis. Basically, it looks at treasury teams in three different times.
Three eras.
Yeah, you could say that. The 1990s then fast forwards to, well, roughly where we are now, 2025-ish. And then it even tries to give us a potential glimpse into the 2030s. Quite futuristic, some of it.
Okay, so our mission here, it's really to peel back the layers on this whole evolution.
Right.
Understand the shifts, who does what skills you need, the tools they're using, and maybe get a real feel for what this AI-augmented treasury of the future might actually look like.
Yeah.
And look, even if you're not, knee-deep in corporate finance day-to-day, why should you care? Well, because this isn't just about treasury. It's a really potent example of how tech is reshaping core functions everywhere.
Absolutely. Across the board.
And that means it tells something about the skills that'll be valuable tomorrow, whatever your field is. Okay, then. Let's unpack this.
Right. So let's step back to the 1990s first. The picture then. Pretty straightforward, actually. Treasury teams were typically quite lean.
Small teams, okay.
And their day-to-day was heavily operational, almost entirely focused on just transactions, moving money.
Right, the mechanics of it all. So the core roles would be what, like a cash manager? Making sure money's in the right place?
Exactly. Cash manager, yes. An FX trader, handling currency risks, and a treasury accountant doing the books for it all. Very hands-on work.
Very hands-on. And the technology part, what was that like within the team itself?
Well, that's the thing. It was pretty rare to see dedicated tech roles in Treasury, or even much reliance on, sophisticated software.
Okay, so the tools are more like Lotus 123, Excel, I bet.
Oh, yeah, definitely Excel. Lots of spreadsheets. And honestly, the phone and the fax machine were critical. Lifelines.
Wow, fax machines.
Yeah.
And decisions, how are they made?
Often slow. Based on manual approvals, paper pushing, and really driven by the CFO. The head of finance was, calling the shots.
Got it. And compliance. Got it.
Paper trails, think binders, filing cabinets, that sort of thing. Reconciliations were periodic, maybe monthly, quarterly. Everything needed a physical record.
And if they were hiring back then, what was the top priority?
Oh, clear cut. Pure finance backgrounds. You needed your CA or CPA qualification. That was key.
Right. Pure finance. And collaboration. Were they working across the business?
Not really, no. Pretty siloed within the finance department, mostly interacting with the CFO. Training was largely, on the job, learning the company's specific, often manual processes, maybe some older legacy systems if they had them.
And reporting? How often?
Monthly, maybe quarterly. Static reports, often printed out, handed around.
Wow. So imagine managing global cash with paper reports and phone calls. That was really the reality then.
It was. It really highlights just how manual and sort of time-bound everything was compared to now.
Okay, so that's the 90s snapshot paper, phones, pure operations. Now let's fast forward today, 2025. Things look, well, quite different, I imagine.
Oh, dramatically different. Yeah, this is where you really start seeing technology creeping in and genuinely changing the game.
This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, the shift is significant. We're looking at, mid-sized teams typically, and you see this real balance starting to emerge. It's still operations, yes, but also contributing strategically.
Right, strategy comes into play. And the roles themselves must have expanded too.
Absolutely. You've got treasury managers. Okay, they still oversee cash, but now they're deeply involved in forecasting, hedging strategy, and crucially, integrating with the company's ERP system.
Ah, the ERP.
Yeah.
The big company software.
That's the one, yeah. Enterprise resource planning, the central brain for a lot of data. And FX analysts, they're not just trading. They're using dashboards, looking at things like VAR, value at risk. It helps them quantify potential losses on, say, currency exposure. They're using automated trading rules now, too. You see roles like debt structuring leads.
Doing what exactly?
They're involved in things like digital bond issuance, using software to compare interest rates in real time. It's much more dynamic.
And you mentioned integration. This sounds key. There's a specific role for that now.
Yes, and this is a really crucial evolution. The Treasury Systems Analyst. This person's job is specifically connecting the TMS, Treasury Management System, software built just for Treasury tasks like cash management, payments, hedging, connecting that to the ERP and other systems. They're automating processes using APIs.
Okay, APIs. Explain those quickly.
Sure. Application programming interfaces, think of them like digital messengers or translators. They let different software programs talk to each other automatically.
Okay.
So your TMS can automatically pull data from your ERP or your bank feeds without manual uploads. It's about connecting the systems.
Got it. Automating the data flow. Makes sense.
Exactly. And you also have, say, cash accountants. Their job is faster now because of automated bank reconciliations. They get alerts on dashboards if something looks off instead of digging through statements.
Much more efficient.
Yeah. And often a regulatory liaison role, too, focused on digital filing and reporting to regulators.
So technology is definitely here.
Yeah.
And specific people are skilled in it. They know the TMS inside out, maybe do some Python scripting.
Python, yeah. That's a common programming language, especially for data analysis or building small automation tools.
And the actual tools reflect this hybrid world, right? Like
Yeah.
Kyriba, SAP, TRM, those are TMS platforms.
Correct. Those are common TMS examples. And then tools like Python for analysis, Power BI for creating those data dashboards everyone uses now, and a big shift towards cloud software, SaaS, software as a service.
Right. And decision making. Still just the CFO.
No, it's leveled up, still led by the CFO and the head of Treasury typically, but they're relying heavily on data from those dashboards. Real-time data is actively informing strategy now, not just gut feel.
Okay. Data-driven decisions. What about compliance and audit? Still paper.
Less and less. You've got digital logs, digital audit trails. Some systems can even flag potential compliance issues in real time. It's moving beyond just paper records.
And hiring. What are they looking for now?
Definitely shifted. It's not just pure finance anymore. Companies want finance knowledge plus experience with ERP systems, maybe TMS or data analysis skills. That finance tech hybrid person is really emerging.
Yeah, hybrid. Yeah.
And collaboration, still siloed. No, that's breaking down too. Treasury is working much more cross-functionally, talking to risk teams, IT, legal, FP&A,
FP&A.
financial planning and analysis. They need that broader business context now. Training is focused on the digital tools, getting certified on the ERP or TMS, maybe Python workshops.
Makes sense. And reporting.
Yeah.
Not just monthly printouts anymore.
Definitely not. It's real-time dashboards, alerts for exceptions. We've really moved from static reports to dynamic, always-on information. This picture, this is probably much closer to what you, the listener, might see or hear about today, leveraging tech for better data, more efficiency, but still very much human-led.
Wow. Okay. So quite a journey from the 90s to today's kind of hybrid approach.
Yeah.
Right now, buckle up, because the analysis goes into the 2030s, the AI-augmented future. And this sounds, well, potentially mind-bending.
Absolutely. The outlook here is quite different. Think smaller core human teams, but, and this is the key, they are massively augmented, supported by distributed AI, intelligent agents doing a lot of the, heavy lifting.
Heavy lifting. So like a small human core supervising an army of bots.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. A lean core directing digital assistants.
That is a massive jump. The roles described, they sound completely different. You mentioned an AI Treasury Ops manager.
Exactly. Their job isn't really doing the operations anymore. It's supervising the AI agents performing the tasks.
Yeah.
Calibrating the bots, making sure they work right.
Supervising the bots. Okay. And then these other new roles. Tokenized finance engineer, tokenized FX strategist. What's that about?
Yeah, these are tied to really cutting-edge tech. They deal with things like smart contracts.
Self-executing contracts on a blockchain.
That's them. And using AI agents to manage liquidity, maybe FSX risk, in these new tokenized financial markets where assets are represented digitally on a blockchain.
Okay, tokenization. Got it. And there was a specific role, prompt designer.
Yes. The prompt designer. This is fascinating. Someone focused purely on crafting the right instructions, the prompts for the AI models, making sure the AI agents and bots do the tasks correctly, generate the right insights. It's like being an expert communicator with the AI.
Communicating with AI becomes a job title.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What else? Digital debt architect.
Right. Using AI not just for issuing bonds on these new tokenized platforms, but maybe even for AI matchmaking, connecting issuers with the right investors automatically.
AI matchmaking for bonds.
Yeah.
And Treasury DevOps. That sounds like IT, but for Treasury.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Managing all those API connections we talked about,
Yeah.
making sure the systems talk smoothly, but also integrating things like large language models, the tech behind ChatGPT, for example, directly into Treasury workflows.
So manual data entry must be
And
gone.
pretty much minimal. Handled by AI-led exception handling. The AI does everything automatically unless it hits a weird problem it can't solve. Then a human steps in. Compliance. It becomes continuous, triggered automatically by those smart contracts, with AI audit agents actually supervising the process in real time. AI workflow orchestration, designing how all these agents work together, that becomes a core human skill.
So tech isn't just present in this 2030s view. It's dominant.
Absolutely dominant. Tech integrated roles are standard. You've got API engineers, reg tech analysts, specialists in regulatory technology, smart contract auditors, all potentially part of the core Treasury team.
And the tools would be things like Treasury GPT, blockchain platforms, predictive AI agents,
Exactly. Smart TMS systems deeply integrated with AI, an ecosystem of autonomous API connections between banks, systems, platforms.
and decision-making. Humans still decide.
It shifts to AI-assisted decisioning. The forecast suggests Treasury agents could actually execute strategy autonomously based on AI analysis, with humans providing oversight, setting the parameters, truly AI co-piloted finance
Co-pilot it? Okay.
and compliance and audit.
Moving towards continuous smart contract auditing, anomalies flagged automatically by AI, almost autonomous enforcement of rules. Hiring. The priorities must shift massively again.
Huge shift. Hybrid backgrounds are essential. Data science, blockchain expertise, and that prompt engineering skill. Tech-first roles become absolutely critical.
Collaboration sounds different too. Embedded in enterprise AI, data mesh teams.
Yeah, truly integrated across the business's digital fabric. Not just working with IT, but part of the broader data and AI structure. Training focuses on AI literacy, co-pilot training, smart contract labs, API boot camps. Fluency with these systems is key.
It really is a massive jump, isn't it? Thinking less about doing tasks and much more about supervising, designing, maybe calibrating these AI partners.
That's the core idea, yeah.
Okay, so we see the trajectory. Paper and phones, then dashboards, then AI agents.
Yeah.
But what does this mean for the people? The actual skills needed. The source had some numbers on this, right? Quantifying the shift.
It did, and this is where it gets really sharp. The very foundation of what a finance pro is in this function, it's shifting. Look at the skills breakdown as a percentage of the team's overall capability. Core finance accounting skill.
The bedrock.
Right. Dominant at 80% in the 90s, down to maybe 60% today, and forecast to be only 40% in the 2030s. Still vital foundational knowledge, of course, but a smaller slice of the total pie.
That's a huge drop. Okay, what about Treasury systems and ERP skills?
They rise from 10% in the 90s to 20% today, which makes sense with the TMS-RP integration we discussed. But then they dip slightly to 15% in the 2030s forecast.
A dip. Why would that be? Seems counterintuitive with more tech.
It does at first glance, doesn't it? But one interpretation is, as the tech gets more sophisticated, more modular, using those APIs we talked about, and more AI-driven, maybe the need for lots of people focused just on managing the system infrastructure itself decreases a bit.
Oh, okay.
The skills might shift more towards integration, that DevOps role, or AI calibration, rather than just system admin. The tech becomes less about managing the box and more about orchestrating the intelligence within the boxes.
That makes sense. The tech becomes the job in a way, not just a tool you manage. Okay, but look at these other numbers. Data science modeling.
Big jump there. From 5% in the 90s, 10% today, forecast to hit 20% in the 2030s.
And tech programming Python, APIs.
Similar story. Less than 2% back then, maybe 10% today. Also hitting 20% in the 2030s forecast. Those are clearly major growth areas.
Yeah, absolutely highlights it. Working with data, building models, interacting directly with tech via code or APIs. It's becoming as crucial as traditional finance skills.
It really is.
And then there's that completely new area, AI agent supervision prompting. 0% before, practically zero now, but forecast to be 15% of the team's skill set mix in the 2030s.
Yeah, a brand new core requirement emerging from nowhere, basically.
And the sample 2030 structure they outlined really brings this to life. The functions sound different, like orchestration and oversight. The head of Treasury might be called an AI orchestrator, needing Treasury GPT and prompt engineering skills.
That's the idea. And liquidity ops handled by an AI Treasury ops manager, focusing on training agents, managing API workflows.
FX and hedging has that tokenized FX strategist needing smart contracts, blockchain FX tool expertise. Funding involves a digital debt architect, DLT, fintech OPIs.
DLT, yeah. Distributed ledger technology, the foundation for blockchain. Compliance has its own reg tech analysts using smart tools. And systems and integration needs that Treasury DevOps engineer linking everything together in the cloud.
So you look at all these roles, these skills, what's the bottom line? What does it mean for, someone listening, thinking about their career?
It's a crystal clear signal, I think, whether you're in finance now or not. It's about the acceleration and, frankly, the merging of finance and technology. They just aren't separate fields in this future view.
They really are. And the analysis didn't just paint the picture. It offered concrete recommendations, didn't it? Action
It's
plan.
it did. For hiring, the advice is pretty blunt. Start bringing in those hybrid tech finance roles now. Don't wait for 2030. Find those people early.
Get ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And training.
Make exposure to AI concepts, maybe some Python, understanding APIs. Make it mandatory across all Treasury roles, not just for specialists. Everyone needs that baseline digital literacy.
Foundational knowledge for everyone. What about structure?
Flatten the hierarchy, fewer management layers, but build cross-functional teams, maybe call them pods, focused on specific areas like liquidity, risk, compliance. Bring people with those blended skills together.
Makes sense. And technology investment.
The strong advice is flexible, modular tech stacks, built using APIs, maybe low-code tools. Think architecture you can easily plug new AI tools into as they come along. Avoid big, monolithic systems.
Adaptable tech.
Yeah.
And succession planning.
Yeah. Identify people now in your current team who are quick learners, adaptable, good with digital tools. Start training them specifically for those future AI supervision and orchestration roles. They're your future leaders in this new model.
These really aren't just abstract ideas, are they? They feel like concrete steps companies could and maybe should be taking right now to navigate this.
Absolutely. The prep work really needs to start today if this forecast is even directionally correct.
So quite a journey we've taken. From Treasury teams working with paper and phones in the 90s to today's hybrid teams using dashboards and specialized systems, and then peering into this 2030s future where autonomous AI agents might be standard team members, completely changing the human role. It's clear the Treasury function is undergoing this profound tech-driven shift.
Absolutely. And the key takeaway, I think it applies way beyond just Treasury. It's that the future of so many core business functions seems to be this deep, inseparable blend. You need the traditional expertise, finance, marketing, whatever it is, but combined with tech fluency. And crucially, that human ability to work effectively with and direct intelligence systems.
That blend is critical.
Yeah.
Which leaves us with a really interesting, maybe provocative thought to mull over. As these AI agents get better and better, more autonomous in executing complex strategies, financial or otherwise, how does the human role evolve beyond just supervision?
Yeah, what's next?
What new kinds of challenges, maybe ethical, strategic, creative challenges, will emerge in that highly AI-augmented world that maybe only humans are really equipped to tackle? Something for you to think about as you consider your own path.
A really critical question for all of us, I think.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the changing world of corporate treasury and the future of skills. We hope it gave you some valuable food for thought.